Hey guys, it's Duan, and this is
Dylan Sprouse. I didn't know I was supposed to say that.
Last time I interviewed him about his business was 2.5 years ago, and now it has come to fruition.
I'm a man now.
He's a man now.
I cut my hair.
Yeah.
I'm thinner. I own a business.
So I'm really excited to do a follow-up interview and for you guys to get to know more of what has been going on with Always. It's very exciting.
See ya.
Please.
Probably should have cleaned a little bit.
And where are we located? We're in Williamsburg?
We are in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, yes. And we've been operating now for a little over a year. This is where we make the hooch, yeah. So essentially, everything that we're doing and that you see on this table was being made by me before on the homebrew scale, 5 gallons at a time. Now, as you can see, it's being made at about 1,000 gallons at a time. So it's quite a gallon difference, just like my consumption.
Like, how is it walking in here every single day, knowing that this started from like an idea and a passion, and now this is like, there's tiles that are laid here that you get to step on. Like all these little things are like all the decisions that you made.
I mean, I think obviously it's really cool. It feels really good. I think that not enough business owners talk about the sense of accomplishment that kind of entails, in truth. Walking in here now has the same feeling as walking into my home a little bit, and that's because I was so hands-on in the design and the architecture and building this spot. So, you know, it does. It feels like a house that I've been building for a while. It doesn't feel like coming to work, that's for sure. It definitely feels like going to the lab, which this very much is. We have about 6 flavors in total right now, or varietals as we would call them, including one that was a beer-mead hybrid. So we've been making a lot, and each one takes about 3 months to brew. And those are the same kind of base recipes that I was doing 2 years ago, and even prior to that for about 11 years now. And so here we do it on a very different scale, obviously, and to scale it up to this size requires some finagling and some aspects of it to make sure that it tastes the same or that it works at all and doesn't blow up in our face. You know, we started with our show mead, which is the mead that I realized I wanted to make the base flagship product 5-6 years ago when I was home brewing. And we started with that and this one, the oolong tea mead, which was a varietal that we set out immediately to have alongside the show mead. So if you see, their front labels are actually the same. And that's because back then we didn't really change our labeling practices or designs. So these are both vintages. They're about a year and change now. And then we moved on to making other varietals. We made the Rhodamel, which you can see we changed the design for a little bit. This mead just won Gold Medal of the Year in the Best Dry Mead category. We made the Southern Sunset mead, and this mead is made with hibiscus flowers. And this is a really delicious 13% mead, so it's our strongest, but it's a little bit sweeter. And this is kind of the coalition of all of our processes in steeping the ingredients and designing the stuff. It's kind of coming to a head with the Southern Sunset. After that, we made our Dirty Show mead, which is our new show mead for this year. And this is an unfiltered mead, which is the most resembling to the meads I was making on the homebrew scale. But when we started making this, even 2 years ago around, the unfiltered wine market wasn't as big as it is now. And so I was afraid that I couldn't actually release an unfiltered mead like this to the public without them being kind of off-put by the flavors. Now though, it's largely our best-selling mead. So people have kind of come full circle around to the idea of unfiltered natural wines, and it's been a big success for us. In a way, it's nice for me because this is what I was making on the homebrew scale, and it kind of affirms a lot of what I had hoped people would like about mead. So our bar will be open soon, TM. When that's open, that'll be more of a formal bar and tasting room downstairs. But for now, in our manufacturing on weekends primarily, and sometimes during weekdays, we open our doors to visitors and they can do tastings here. And we taste all of our flight with them, and then they can decide which bottle they want, and then they buy it here, and we do takeaways primarily. We don't do by the glass here, just because it's illegal, but soon down in the tap room and bar, we will be doing that. We do a lot of collaborations nowadays. In general, I'll say that unlike any other industry I've ever witnessed, especially acting, brewing is super non-competitive. And
really? There's not a lot of meaderies out there?
the thing is, it's non-competitive, I guess, in the way that it's philosophically non-competitive. Brewers are very good people, it seems. And vintners, winemakers, mead makers in general, super collaborative. More interested in sharing ideas and processes than competing with each other. It's a super open arms community, and a lot of people want to toss ideas around and see if you philosophically vibe with how they brew. And so we have found a home among a lot of fellow brewers and winemakers here in the city, particularly, which has one of the greatest drinking scenes in the world. And so we've done a lot of collaborations. This one is our first canned collaboration, which is our BEER. And it's a honey lager with Five Boroughs Brewery, which was very exciting. So we brewed that on the small scale, and it was a smash success. And then, you know, about 6 months, 7 months later, we brewed it for canning, and now we're selling it in Whole Foods and a lot of other places, including our own spot here, and also Five Boroughs Brewery as well. I think it's easy to presume that because I'm attached to this project, that this is just like something I'm throwing money into to make a buck or something. I think a lot of distributors and big business see the hundreds and hundreds of celebrities right now who are opening up any dog mezcal or tequila or vodka brand, who have no hand in actually the process, the market, or understanding it, more so than just marketing it on their social media. And I think that they lump me in with that. I would understand why businesses would do that, but I think it's unfair given how hands-on I am. And on some hands it works for us, and on other hands it really doesn't. I think that the primary difference is that, you know, these are my recipes. I'm in here with a brewer's paddle stirring it around for hours and hours a day. And when I'm not here, I'm experimenting at home. And I'm making batches even on the films that I shoot, right? I'm taking local honey from China and making mead with Szechuan peppers, right? Like it's something that I love, and I'm trying to build a movement out of in the alcohol scene. And I don't think that a lot of businesses or distributors or bars understand how involved both Matt and I are in this process. This is really brewing and alchemy on the highest grade. And I don't mean to toot my own horn. I make a damn good mead. I just wish people would see it a little bit more as All-Wise mead and less as Dylan Sprouse mead.
Well, I'm proud of you. And I know, like, everyone that's seen this business grow is definitely, like, respects you so much.
I appreciate it.
It's true, though. Are you kidding me?
You know,
like, even just you just standing here, like, yeah, you're talking about it and you're like, these are the flavors and stuff, but like the fact that this is real, this is tangible, you're inside this building that you, like, you know, you made, you created, you bought all of this, like, everything is for the meadery, and it all stemmed from your idea and your passion, and that's what's even more exciting. It stems from your passion.
I think, you know, playing off that though, I think the meadery was also representative a little bit for me of, like I was joking outside, but really becoming an adult in a lot of ways where I wasn't before. Having responsibility in this form, but also having a responsibility to myself to admit where I was lacking in terms of my creative process, the way I run business, the things I'm good at. I had to be very reflective and honest with myself about the things I was bad at. And in that respect, those who I've decided to work with have been infinitely helpful. Matt Kwan has a set of skills that is so invaluable to this operation that there was no way I could stand in front of you now and tell you that I would ever be close to doing what we're doing here without him. He's very, very good at what he does. He's very passionate. And he's also aware of the things that I am not good at, and subsequently he's aware of the things he's not good at. And I think we're very complementary in that way. truth be told, it's a good position to be in because I'm actually proud of a lot here. I feel pretty accomplished with the meadery, and I know that there's a lot more to do, and that's good. I think that I'm most proud of creating a watering hole and kind of an information hub for people interested in this beverage. I think there's a special feeling I have when I see people who come in, taste the mead, learn what it is, are surprised, buy a bottle, leave, come back in a week, they've brought their friends to try it, they buy bottles, leave, and then they come back. And it's this spider web that's kind of emerging in front of me of people who are now making this a watering hole for themselves. And it's affirming everything that I knew I loved about mead. And I was surprised to see that this thing I was brewing in weird buckets in the garage 10 years ago is now having such a response by people that they love it and they're coming back. And that not only makes me happy from the scale of a brewer, but it makes me happy from the scale of an artist. It makes me happy to teach people what this is and to really kind of make a play in this movement that I think is kind of emerging, and I'm really proud of that particularly.
Dylan, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Just to like being here, but also just like seriously.
Well, we're having Thanksgiving in here too. So.
I know. We're gonna have Thanksgiving in here. He bought a table.
I bought a table. Tables are expensive. And you guys have been very supportive along the way. You really have. I mean, every step of the way you guys have been there for me, so I really appreciate that. Whether it's going to events or helping me film or just hearing my ridiculous, stupid train of thought. But you guys also helped me make the series too, the mead video series we all did together, which you can check out on our All Wise Instagram, or mine too.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
And that's all of our collaborative effort. We're friends doing things.
I hope that this left you inspired. I mean, it's crazy if you go back and watch the first interview that I did with him. Like we were in his backyard and he was talking about it. So now to be here right now and see it all and have his bottles, right here, it's incredible. So
I appreciate that. I'll say as a kind of last note too, that if you're worrying about being able to start something and make a business, I would say just do it.
Yep. I completely agree.
Because the only universal truth of business that I have learned that's really universal across any industry is that continuing to work is the best way to make something happen.
Yep.
And being there, being a community member, showing your face and doing what you love is the best way to get something started. And everything else, every impasse or bump in the road, you'll experience along the way, and you can't see it coming. You just need to drive down the road and experience it once you've started. So.
Also, that's how you learn. All your little hiccups and your little failures and whatever, that's how you learn.
Unless you have
don't want to do it that way.
Unless you have some guru wizard teaching you everything along the way, you're really not going to, you're not going to look. So that's why you gotta be the guru wizard.
Yeah.
You gotta become the guru wizard.
Yeah. Okay. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I love you, and I will see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!
Bye-bye.